leading women. Okay, if you're not a leading woman, keep scrolling. No, I'm just playing. Even if you're not a leading woman, stop, because this is how you're going to become a leading woman, by hanging out with us. And that is myself. I'm Yolanda at DryerBuzz, and over there. Angela's trying to get her volume down.
I'm trying to get my volume adjusted.
Angela Stalkup, and while Angela tells you guys, I like to throw it to her so I can do what she just did, and that is go and find a broadcast and share it and start and do watch parties and all that. Keep in mind, if you are watching us on a watch party, we can't see you until after the fact. So if you would like for your comments to be shared into the broadcast, or even if you would like to come into the broadcast, wherever you just saw a link to watch this, there is also a link to coming through our green room right on into this screen with us. Up there in the description, even also down there below, there's a link for you to find more episodes, because when we finish this broadcast, it becomes a podcast. So if you can't stick and stay with us today while we're live, you can actually go and catch the podcast, like, follow, share, subscribe, all of those things. You know, that's what everybody needs in order to engage with you. I'm going to explain what I'm wearing after Angela explains what we talked about last week. Angela.
Welcome. I'm actually feeling pretty good today.
Sounds like it.
Last week I felt like crap. So this is like, I'm like, huzzah. Yes. So last week we had a special guest, Dr. Tachi, from Mediascope is her podcast or video cast and broadcast. It's actually on the radio as well. She's a media expert. She's a professor of media studies, and also she's an online media personality. And so we were talking particularly about with her about two things. One was the Golden Girls table read and what that meant for how we can engage content during this time of pandemic and beyond, and how these virtual platforms are allowing people to have experiences that you might not otherwise have, but that are entertaining. And then we talked about the Emmys and the Oscars, the Oscars, and their attempt at creating some benchmarks to drive diversity. And I think our big takeaway from that was the idea is that if anyone who is deprived, particularly people of color being deprived from being able to access these kinds of movies so that you have an Academy Award nominated Academy Award winner after your name, is depriving whole communities of generational wealth. So, it's interesting to think about how all of this comes back around, that we now as individuals are able to have access to these platforms. The big industries are slow to catch up. They're not really catching up with us, right?
Are they trying? Yeah, that's the question.
Right. And are they even seeing the opportunities that individuals are seeing? And then to say that in those structures, right, how are we going to, as women, as people of color, how do we reimagine our participation in that so that we too have a piece of that pie? And particularly me as a white person, as a white woman, I'm higher up on the rungs of being able to get a piece of that action. But still, that being part of the system is also important. Yes, being over here independent, doing your own thing is important. But if you get in those structures, talked about Tyler Perry building his own table, building that table, then bringing more into your table, I think was really our true takeaway. So it was a good, very good conversation. So
we got to cover a lot.
We got to cover a lot
with her last week, and I love when we don't know how far and how deep we're gonna go on the topic, and we literally started because we were like wondering. And now that we think about the Golden Girls episode of last week, remember it was hyped everywhere, right? But they said something about that was going to be something that came on Tuesdays. I don't know if they did anything yesterday. We didn't hear about it. We certainly didn't hear about
anything.
Which plays to, again, what you and I continue to talk about, intended audiences, And one of the things that we know is the African-American audience is a highly emotionally charged audience. We still get excited when we say we're going to get to see some Black people. So I don't know if they even had an episode
Well,
yesterday. We didn't see, nothing went viral about it on
no,
our end. On our end, so.
if they had one, we didn't see it. So I'm assuming maybe they haven't done it. The thing that did go viral was Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle and their verses and the grown folks verses. And
Oh, that's right. We didn't see that last week. That was
no,
this
it was
weekend.
Sunday. All right. That was Sunday evening. So yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about that. I mean, remarkable. It was a remarkable performance, number one, to see what Patti LaBelle 76, Gladys Knight 77, both still in incredible voice. I mean, their voices, my God, Gladys Knight kept complaining that she couldn't hit the high notes. She sounded just fine to me. But to see the draw of that crowd, we had Brandy and Monica with over 1 million on Versus.
What were the numbers for
500,000 were on the
Versus regular
app?
Yeah.
But it was
on
also
the app?
Yes, on the through Instagram. Through Instagram.
Oh, through the Instagram. Okay.
Through Instagram.
Okay.
And then Apple Music streamed it. So I actually watched on two. I had one on my computer with the Instagram and then one on Apple Music. I just wanted to see how it worked. And Apple Music now has playlists that are
there
connected.
Was 500,000 alone on a guy. I don't even know who he was. Yeah, but it was 500,000 on his simulcast. I won't say bootleg. His simulcast alone on YouTube.
There you go. He was so on YouTube 500. You've got IG 500,000. Who knows how many on Apple Music? So probably tapped out over 1 million. I haven't seen those numbers.
I'm pretty sure.
And gave us a full concert experience. Patti LaBelle had her full. She's like, this is how I set up my stage. The shoes, the luggage, the whole thing. She kicked off her shoes when she sang Over the Rainbow because that's what she does on the stage. And what I thought was so fascinating, there's so much we could spend the whole time talking about that. But when Patti said, I'm just so grateful to be performing,
don't you find that odd? I always, whenever I am, and I in 20 years in doing this, I've always had an opportunity to be around these celebrities. I'm always amazed and shocked when they come together, how what the discourse is, like how excited they are to be. You would think Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, hang out all the time. Apparently, I guess they're on two different coasts because Gladys had to come to where Patti was. I think somebody said Philadelphia. They did this.
I wonder,
but it's just amazing to me when I see them. Like even when you think about award shows, like even at award shows, and I guess because of how they work and everybody's out touring or making movies and films and all of that, they come across each other. But when at these award shows, man, it's like reunions, like they haven't seen each other in forever. But you think that they see each other all the time. So I was amazed how far back they went and how your mom and
yes,
with that kind of conversation,
and it was. Then that was beautiful. That's what made it so precious. Like I was just in tears. I'm like, it's a joy just to watch the two of them talk. And Patti LaBelle kept saying, we've been through some things. And then never really went into what those things were.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
And she's made some comment about Michael McDonald. Oh, I got a story there. Tell the story.
That's what this was about. But and then some of them, when they do these kinds of things, it's like they wait for the documentary, wait for the behind the scenes, or wait for all that. But that's kind of what I was really hoping for on the Versus, because here we had two women who have been in this industry forever. And me, I'm binging on 1960s, 1970 television. So every day I watch the Ed Sullivan Show. It comes on, I think 2 episodes of it. And I'm so amazed by this show because there's, when you think about diversity, and I hate that word diversity, but when you think about, because I'm pretty sure we all know, whether, no matter how diverse the stage was, some had to come in this way and some had to immediately leave. Like I was watching one day, and I think they replayed it yesterday. What's her name? Oh my God. Oh, don't slip my mind right now. Oh my God, I want to say her name. Before Patti, before all of them, way back. She was in I can't even think. I want to say her name so bad. I don't even want to move past this point without saying her name.
It'll come to you.
What's the opera, the black opera? Carmen. She was in
Jesse
Carmen.
Norman. Jesse Norman.
No. Oh my God. Who is the star in Carmen?
Oh, and
okay, not her, but the other. And she's the aunt to some. Oh my God.
Right. Not
Della Reese, not Lena Horne, but right there with them, and probably even more popular than. You know who I'm talking about. Her name is on the tip of my tongue. Well, I really, really, truly think that Ed Sullivan had a thing for her, and what had there's a moment where, because you know what they don't show is Ed Sullivan. You know, there wasn't like you perform and go sit down and do an interview. It's performance after performance. But when she performed, oh my God, I can't think of her name. When she performed, he came over to her after the show, and you could tell it was something uncomfortable. And because you could tell his shows, I'm sure, are highly produced, you know, meaning like, okay, he has the rundown of who's going to be on, and he just comes out there and he announces them or whatever. But after she performed, and I wish I could think of her name, after she performed, and I keep wanting to say Della Reese, but it's not Della Reese. Oh my God. She was in Carmen, the original Carmen.
Pearl Bailey?
Pearl Bailey. Okay. Pearl Bailey was on there.
Zach saved you on that one.
Where is that? Okay.
I see Zach
Pearl Bailey. Pearl Bailey was on there. And he came over to her and he said, right after she performed, that he had talked to, he said, I've heard so much about you. And he goes to name drop, starting with Sammy Davis Jr.'s friend, the guy that used to be with Sammy Davis Jr. all the time. But the names that he dropped are the men we've all heard to suspect being in the mafia and all this kind of stuff, right? They all have that kind of history. This is why we need our musicians like to tell these stories. So when he goes over, you can tell it's a bit of a fascination. He needs to, I don't care what your producers, you need to meet her before she leaves your stage. He goes over after her performance on stage and proceed. I'm like, because I'm here, this is me. Oh, she gets an interview because, you know, they usually have to get in and get out. And he goes over, but you can tell, I'm like, wait a minute. He's kind of, that's some infatuation going on there. And he proceeds to tell her he said, I've heard some really great things about you. And he starts dropping these names of this clique, right? I'm like, ooh, I'm about to fall off my chair, right? Already, right? And I'm like, Pearl Bailey, what is going on? And you know, and Pearl was a badass. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just say she was a badass. So I'm like, wait, she was out there running with the fellas like that. And I mind you, I got all of this just out of there. Ain't nobody said this.
Yeah.
But in my mind was like, whoa, Pearl is a badass. All right. She's running with the fellas like that. Fellas we think to have come through this industry through certain means. And in the word, she done got to New York and on the Ed Sullivan stage to the point Ed Sullivan stops the show and needs to go over and make sure that Pearl gets a little special treatment. I'm all in my feelings right now, you know.
I can see.
Because this is, I mean, the Ed Sullivan Theater is in the smack dab in the middle of New York. It's leading into Times Square. And I'm like, Pearl, this man stopped the show to go over to this black woman on this stage by whom they had issues being on stage. And his was one of the places that these artists could go and perform, even though they may not even been treated the best while they were there. I don't know.
Well, and you know, and I think it's really a good reminder that just them being on the show, just having any black person on that show was a statement.
To them,
right?
I got a storm coming through. I'm freezing up.
I lost sound there.
Yeah, okay.
It's bad weather here in Atlanta today, so guys.
So you guys bear with us. We got
bad.
some storming going on. Yeah. Okay, I see Zach's comments popping up. Dorothy Dandridge, he was saying, well, we were trying to come up with Pearl Bailey. That's what it was. Okay, thanks, Zach. And man, I'm telling you. So I was excited about that. I like to watch that, and that's what I wanted out of Gladys and Patty. I really wanted them to talk about what I gleaned from it, I gleaned that Patty was more of an artist. I gleaned that Gladys was more of an owner. You could, the fact that she knew all her lyrics means she might have had something to do with the writing of those. I'm sorry,
no
y'all.
shame.
I'm a forever laugh. Because did I not say going in?
Yeah,
I hope that they give Patty her lyrics because I know
you did. But I know. Hey, look, she's like, I sang a lot of songs. I don't need to remember them. Just
it's a
throw up
lot
the
of them.
lyrics.
Yeah,
As soon as she starts, she's gonna be back. She was back into it.
And
I
you
tell
knew
what,
she was into it when because you kind of felt like they didn't know what they clearly neither of them knew what they were really participating in.
Right, they didn't know.
Both of them saying that their sons encouraged them to do this and so forth. So they didn't know, even though they, probably showed them Monica and all of them and the others. You could tell they still didn't know. Yeah.
Thank God they didn't know that they weren't supposed to sing, because it was like, it was like we got a free concert. This was fantastic. And
wasn't
as someone
nice?
pointed out, they were hitting high notes sitting down. If you have ever done any kind of singing, your diaphragm, I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, but I was thinking about that. What I keep thinking about, Yolanda, was when we heard Nikki Giovanni talking about going to see Toni Morrison, and she's like, these are questions I would not ask my friends. And I thought, you look at these two women, and that I imagine is how Nikki Giovanni and Toni Morrison, like, hey, how you doing? What's up? How's the kid? Yeah, how's your mom and them's, right? How's the kids? What you been cooking? You got any good recipes?
Well, let everybody know what you're referencing. Right. Let everybody know what you're referencing.
So Nikki Giovanni, I don't remember, where did we see those? Angela Davis and Nikki Giovanni in conversation.
And I can't. It was on Girl Trek.
On Girl Trek.
It's an organization of Black women trying to get Black women actively walking.
And these young women were asking very meaningful and deep questions. And Nikki Giovanni's kind of like, that's kind of personal. I don't talk to my friends like this. But I thought what we saw with, and you're like, you didn't talk to Toni Morrison about art and philosophy and and life. And she's like, no, that's not how I talk to my friends. And I thought, you see how Patty and Gladys talked. That's how friends talk. What's up? When you get to a certain age, you start talking about
how Nikki and Angela talked once the other young ladies kind of got out.
Once the person got out. And so I thought what you need. So, it's like, and then who is passed? Oh, so-and-so passed. Oh, really? It's like I realize I'm starting to inch into that thing where you start talking about who died. And I'm like, oh my God, that's old lady talk. But the point being is that this would have been a place, watching them just talk, and what they were talking about was really interesting. But Patty would say, oh, we've been through something. That's where, if you had a really good interviewer or moderator, the moderator then would step in, because they're chatting as friends, and that's great. The moderator would have stepped in and said, well, but you're thinking of something specific, right? And then they could have gone into the next thing. I feel like that's the case of where that you don't necessarily talk about, oh, you remember when we played XYZ theater and it was notoriously racist, right? Like one of them said something about, I believe it was Gladys, about that there would be fights out in the, they were thinking, because I was thinking about her being so young, right? I mean, they both started young, but you said we'd be up on stage and we wouldn't know what was going on, right? And I'm thinking she's talking about could be playing in rough places like bars or clubs, but also talking about issues of race, right? These women were right up in the middle of it. And I'm like, that would have been, when she said that again, a moderator then could have said, well, can you remember it? Can you remember a time that happened? And then they would have gone into it. And I felt like they just didn't have enough permission to go into it.
Even a producer kind of giving them cues. Because you could tell somebody was giving them cues because
they didn't know they were live.
Right. They didn't. Right. They didn't know they walked onto a live stage.
Yep.
And then they were kind of like telling them kind of banter back and forth in between the songs. So it was still kind of raw. Because versus they don't really have a format. It's almost as if you get what you get when the people get in and so forth. But they are getting to that point, and I think they'll probably think about it a little bit more now that they see at the different levels of artists that they bring on, who's capable of what, and who's willing and to give and what. And that Gladys was very well willing to sing and perform. And Patty was like, she would if she knew her lyrics.
If she knew her lyrics, if somebody just put my lyrics up, I'll sing,
Right.
I'll hit those high notes every time. But I mean, it was wonderful, and it was just so
It was
joyful.
amazing.
I was just moved by the
and
joy of it.
multi-generational, something that we could all sit down. I had it blaring in my room. My daughter had it blaring in her room. Even though we were coming through different channels, my channel was for me, her channel was for her, and it was absolutely awesome and amazing.
And consider if our mothers were still with us, they could have had it blaring in their room.
And that's why a lot of people watch. If you notice in the comment, a lot of our young people were saying they were watching because a parent or family or an aunt or somebody, they knew somebody who would have loved that. And that's what brought in all of these different ages looking at this like, whoa, mom loved these, dad loved these women. And in the comments, now the comments on the Instagram, the celebrities are all there. But if you went and ventured into the other areas, or watched it with some friends or had your own watch party, then it became a little bit more wholesome than, the celebrities. And again, even some of them, watching them be overwhelmed by something you think they all the time, like you think they could roll with Patty or roll with Gladys or any of them at any time. But we also got to see the respect plate. We had a guest just pop into our green room, guys, and where are we on time? And of course, somebody who manages time well would be on time. I don't even know why I'm looking at the clock. But let me tell you guys, though, we invite you, just like she just did, to come on. And there's a link out there wherever you see in this video. There is a link for you to slide right into our green room in one of our segments. And this is where Angela and I open it up and we put someone on screen with us. I'm going to do that because I know that she is ready. But let me tell you, I started watching this segment, you guys. It is called Time Management Tuesdays. And there's this little snippet of video that will come down your timeline. If you like, follow, share, and subscribe, you get a video from Dr. Deborah Johnson Blake, and she's going to give you a hack on each Tuesday on how to manage your time. Now, y'all know I have had to move this show back 5 whole minutes for my co-host. So over there, Angela. And so I'm like, and so we come on. But this is the book that I got in the mail this week. It's called 52 Time Management Hacks. You get one per week to start to bring into practice and to implement. And I have known this young lady for a while. We both represent the West Georgia, west side of outside of Atlanta, Douglasville. And not only that, she does work at a number of communities and counties and so forth. But I needed this because, and let me also address the fact that, yes, I am broadcasting in my pajamas. For everybody out there that has ever wanted to go live in your pajamas and want to know what it looked like, now you're going to have to get a new set of pajamas, which I have. Petty Betty just brought me these. And because I'm managing my time, but for everybody that says that, I wish I could just log on to my PJs and now you know what it looks like. I'm taking one for the team.
I love it. It's Wacky Wednesday, so that's what we do on Wednesdays, right?
Okay, she said Rocky Wednesday.
Wacky Wednesday.
Wait a minute, say it again.
Wacky Wednesdays.
Wacky Wednesdays. Okay. Now, let me tell you, the first one I did, let me see. I just opened up to the book. But one I did the other day. Let me see. Because I'm not a start at the front, work my way to the end. I like to just randomly open. And look at this one. Okay, this one says block your day based on others' schedules. Well, that's what I have to do on Wednesdays because I know that I have to be ready to go live at 1:30. That means I can't wake up and start any other project because I have to get ready to produce this show. And I like to be on time. I have to try to get some guests on and all that kind of stuff and be ready to talk. Angela's going to bring some science and some data. So I have to do research, check out articles and videos.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit, why did you decide to make time and our time, as a matter of fact, something that you were going to attack as an industry leader, as a leading woman? Why time?
Well, it's ironic. So I was in my 20s working in a law firm, and everything is by the calendar, of course. Mm-hmm. So we had a client who was, just a regular personal injury client, and you get 2 years to file a claim from the date of injury. Okay.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the middle of one now.
Mm.
But you're not going to believe this.
Mm-hmm.
The day after our claim
Mm-hmm.
should have been filed, the
Mm-hmm.
insurance calls my attorney and says, you didn't file your claim, which of course is my responsibility. And so I looked at my file. The claim was already prepared. I was already ready to go. And this is before Microsoft Office and all the stuff that we use, because this was probably like 1991, 1992. May have been out there, but it wasn't as prevalent. We had the tickler file. Do you remember the tickler file?
Yes.
Like that index? Yes. You got to remind yourself to check it, right? So I didn't remind myself to check it. And that's why I started with the time. Time meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me anyway, as an individual and a young lady, always trying to keep my friends and family on task. But at that point, that's when I started to focus on time more, because it had hurt me so bad for missing that deadline. And of course, ultimately could have impacted the attorney with malpractice and all of that. So when I started my master's program, that's what my thesis was on. When I worked on my doctorate, that's what my dissertation was on: time management and nonprofit leaders and their perceptions of time. Because as we know, everybody has challenges with time, including me. I'm going to admit that. However, with nonprofits, they usually have limited resources, not only in money, but in, human capital, employees, staff. So while we all wear a lot of hats, nonprofits tend to even wear more, because I've worked in that industry as well. So that's why I started using this as an opportunity to get, to kind of improve the knowledge of just basic people and my friends around me about time management. So this is my fourth book, 52 Time Management Hacks. And what I decided with this particular one is to take all of those Time Management Tuesdays tips that I used to give in a written format, like a flyer. Remember that? Before I started doing the videos, and I kind of compiled it together, rewrote them, did a little wordsmithing, and put the 52 hacks together, and then decided to implement the videos. And the videos actually started during COVID. So it's been 6-7 months now that I've been putting those out every week. So that's how, and I've been pushed to do that, because videos, to be honest, videos was not my number one thing that I like to do. So they are recorded. They are not live, but I do record them. So I do get an opportunity to edit a little bit. But for the most part, I'll let them fly as is, because, we are human. So nothing's perfect. And I just let it go. So long the content of the tip is relevant for those who are looking at it. So yes, that's how that happens.
One of the things we do here on Wednesdays, we try to make it gender specific and us for women. And time takes us out as women, because we never really truly get to be in the moment. Even though right now, like Angela's a caregiver, I was a former caregiver, we always have to think ahead, and we're always over processing, yesterday, right? So what are some of the things that why does time impact women, or do you feel like time impacts women more?
It's funny you should say that, and you probably didn't even see my text when you and I were going back and forth about 30 minutes ago. Yes, it does impact, to me, women more so than anyone else, because we're the ones that our family relies on. I don't know about you. Right now, I have my mother here with me for a couple of weeks, which is great. I love having her here. And then I have my husband who's preparing for work. So I'm usually used to being by myself around 4 o'clock for the evening, which is fine. My son is no longer here. So, and I say that to say, because my name is called like 10 times in an hour when I'm trying to work on something else. And so now I realize how some of the parents and grandparents are feeling with their children home, and their spouses or significant others are home now, and you can't get nothing done, because the expectation is mama knows, grandmama knows, auntie knows, all of that, because we can typically multitask better than the others. And so because we have so much on our plate, we're being executives, we're being entrepreneurs, we're out there in the community, and we're trying to serve at home as well. of course, there's always going to be a sacrifice, and sometimes the sacrifice is family. In my case, over the years, and that was something I just have to grapple with myself. But as I got older, a little bit more matured, I tried to manage my time where if family time is over here, that's fine. Maybe a month from now, I might be focusing more on work, and that's okay too, because it depends on what's going on in your life at that time as women. So instead of trying to say work-life balance, I like to say work-life integration. And that way you don't beat yourself up because you didn't get a chance to do this over here, whether it was professional or personal, but you're doing what's relevant and priority now. So yes.
Angela, you got a question?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about this idea that women carry so much in their minds, right? In their memory, the sort of, the emotional labor, but also that mental labor, so that even in a household, whoever the head of the female head of household is the one who knows where things are, right? And doesn't have to consult anything. The kids' schedule, the doctor's number, all the birthdays. I think it's so funny, since my mom has passed, I'm the senior woman now in our family. And other than my grandmother, who's 105. So, but we're not going to ask her to remember everybody's birthdays. But it's like everybody calls me, well, when's so-and-so's birthday? And they're filling out medical forms. Do you know what was our grandparents' medical conditions? What was our, and I'm like, and I always know. And they're like, and I'm like, how do I even know this? Right. So when we think about the stuff that we have in our head, that's why everybody's calling your name, right? Or he's calling mom or calling your name, because you don't even have, you're like, boom, I know, like that. You can access that information because we value it, right? We value making sure everyone's taken care of.
Yes.
So I think about that from the point of view of that, if there's anybody else around you that doesn't have to remember it, they don't. And so, this is, as women, we're carrying so many things in our minds that we're remembering, I know for me, I'm trying to remember, right? And I'm taking care of someone who has to be on a very specific schedule, and there's medications and doctors and, there's appointments with doctors and, on and on and on. And so, as Yolanda just burned me on my time management skills, I'm like, that doesn't go unnoticed. Yeah,
but I clearly understand. And
right,
so
but no, absolutely.
I said, let me give her a 5 minutes grace period.
But I really resonate with your story of this very important thing that gets missed, because you get to the point, and I know I do, where I think I can just keep it all in my head and it'll be okay. But you do reach a point where something is not going to be in your head. You're just going to completely forget. I just completely forget that existed over here, right? And then suddenly it's like, oh no. So yes, no. So yeah. So I mean, that's more of a comment than a question. But let's here's a question then. What do you? I see you held up your little notebook. What is your recommendation to help women particularly get past this thing of you can't even get help because you're the only one who knows where the thing is, what the thing is, who you talk to? So how do we get past that?
Well, first, let me just say this. For me, I guess it was like 2001. This is going to seem strange. 2001. Yes, I remember the year. I realized I was sitting in front of my laptop and somebody had sent me a text on asking me how to spell a word. Just like I can look it up, they can too, right? When they say, is this the right way to spell this word? And I said, yes. And then so a lot of things were happening just around that time. At that point, God put it on my spirit to say, you know what? Your purpose in life is to serve and to be a resource to others. Now, it took me a long time to grapple that and say, okay. But in the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years, I realized that's my purpose here. No matter what else I'm doing, that's my purpose. And so I don't get upset. Now, I do know how to say no. So our issue is we do have to learn how to say no. No is a complete sentence. Okay. But it all depends on the makeup of the individual woman and how much they can transfer out. Because you're right, without the knowledge, I don't know everything in my head, but it's in my phone.
Right.
I either have a note coming up, I have a reminder coming up on the calendar. I have my notes reminders, my regular notes, my reminders, and my calendar that kind of keeps me afloat. Now, there's days where I might forget something, because if it's not on the calendar, then it may not get done. So, I definitely suggest women have whatever system that works for them. For me, it's electronic, digital. For some, it may, be some type of notebook or, planner. But to put it all down, if you have a family, which most people do, and they have it on a calendar, even if it's, well, I say family is friends too. I might have you might have a calendar on your refrigerator. Whatever it is, write it down, first of all, somehow, some way, to make sure that you can remember in your head. Because even for the simplest things in the home, can you tell me where the mustard is? Can you look for it?
Right.
Well, this refrigerator got too much stuff in it.
Right.
Where does it normally go? That's simple. Just like your job, women at work, those who are, very, I'm going to say, very strategic in their efforts to get work done, and you're already busy, you already know the supervisor is going to pile more on them because they will handle it. Like we all have, we can get it done. But once you accept that that's the person that you are, and even though most women are that way, just kind of think about it from that perspective, where this is who you are. This is what you have to give back, as long as you have it written down somewhere and you can kind of assess it, So that's the best strategy for me, is put it somewhere where you can see it and remember it, for you and your family.
I know for me,
I need correctly, because I know I went on a tangent.
No, it's good. That's good.
No, I was going to say, I know for me, I now have to write stuff down. I've tried electronic, I need to, because I think writing it down helps me visualize it, keep it, it helps you commit things to memory. But now, and I know those are some of the hacks, using your calendar, using your notebook and so forth. How do you then, or what do you see when people feel like they're using too much, they lost time, or you lost a day, or we lost a week, and how do you then, how should you feel, because you can't get it back, but then how do you begin to correct it, realizing that something in time management is where your flaw is. How do you start to correct some of those things, or even to implement some of your hacks that you have in her book, 52 Time Management? How do you even begin to implement this? Because as women, even if we're going to implement one or two of these hacks, we've got to get the family to buy in on it. You got to convince others, hey, listen, I'm going with a time management regimen now. You can't just roll up on me, because even a simple question of where is the mustard when I got all of this stuff going on, that could set it off. Like, you asking me about mustard, and I'm trying to deal with the mortgage and work and all this other stuff. So how do we start to implement? The first thing you said was we stop. How?
Well, on page 37, one of the things, and it's hack number 36, is time auditing. So first, you got to determine where you're spending your time. So a lot of time we don't realize that we waste time, so to speak. So once you conduct a time audit, you'll be able to assess where you spend your time. I'm going to show
everybody that. Let's see if I can get that on the screen there. There we go, right there, guys. What she's talking about. Okay.
Time auditing is critical. I have one sheeter from like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., or you can adjust the times according to your normal schedule. And for you to start that process, you're literally writing down, what did I do at 7? What did I do at 7:30? What did I do at 8? And looking down, and once you've done a whole day like that, then you can go back and do the audit to say, okay, I might have wasted 30 minutes, at 2 o'clock or whatever, something like that. So get your time audit first. And then you see where those opportunities for you to plug in to do, either more focused work or other tasks that are necessary, for you to have a successful day. So time auditing is very, very, very important. And I do that from time to time. However, I will say this, as women, we get tired too, don't we? Right? I wake up between 6 and 7 every day, and I'm moving nonstop, whether it's for somebody else or for myself. So by the time the end of the day comes, I'm exhausted. So what happens? The next day, I may not feel like I have enough energy to do those tasks that I already planned. And guess what, guys? Don't beat yourself up because it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, you might lose a track of time here and there, not consistently now. This is not for the procrastinators. This is for the people who work hard and you're overloaded. Take a break.
There you go. I love it.
Take a break and put it on your calendar that this is, planning.
Mm-hmm.
If you have somebody else that's managing your calendar, planning time. Block out the time that you want to spend for yourself. That self-care that you need. So that's what I would say for that.
All right. Well, I know you were squeezing in some time for us today. So I want to thank you. And listen, everybody, go and get the book, 52 Time Management Hacks. Tell everybody where they can find you, the book, and these Time Management Tuesdays that you are doing.
Sure. My website is DeborahJohnsonBlake.com. You can purchase the book directly from there. And if you do that from my website, I'll be happy to send an autographed copy to you.
Yay.
Also, of course, the book is available on Amazon, but it'll come straight to you without an autograph. But if you happen to do that and we're in the same area, I'll be happy to meet you to sign it. But it's best to go to DeborahJohnsonBlake.com. You can follow me on social media at DJohnsonBlake on all the social media sites. And on Tuesdays, specifically, you can find your time management hack. But may I say one more thing? That a lot of times we don't realize and we do it. And that's why earlier when I say multitasking, I just want to let everybody know that multitasking really does not work. And I don't know if you figured that out. Yes, sometimes we something as simple in the home as talking on the phone, wash dishes. Not talking about that. I'm talking about when you're sitting down and you're doing that work for your business or for the organization that you're aligned with, when you are jumping around, and they call that switching, like in the when you're shopping for brands, that's switching. We switch from brands. Well, that's the same thing from switching from tasks, because what happens is in the long run, you've wasted a lot of time. And then at the end, you realize you didn't get anything done because you were switching from one task to the next. So do one thing at a time, focus on one thing at a time, if possible. And I just wanted to share that because that's very, very important, because we as women do switch. And guess what? It takes 21 minutes to get back focused.
Yeah.
After one interruption on average.
Wow.
So I just wanted to let you know that. But thank you so much.
21 minutes. She said to get back on focus.
21 minutes on average to get back focused after one interruption.
Wow.
All right. So I'm on here now. I was just jumping on here to share some more stuff out and screenshots and all that kind of stuff before I get her out of here, guys. But thank you so much for jumping on with us. And,
it is my pleasure.
Get your books, guys. Get your books. All right, Dr. DJ, Deborah Johnson Blake. Thank you.
Thank you, DryerBuzz. Nice to meet you, Angela.
Nice
Y'all
to
have a
meet you.
productive afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. All right. All right, guys. That's how you look. All you got to do is slide in. There's a link out there. Slide in, contact us, inbox Angela. Okay. Email Angela. What we Leading Women Weekly or Leading Women Podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And let us know what you guys have got, because we want to bring you on Wednesdays. We're here 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 Pacific. And we come on and we have such an amazing conversation. Actually, Angela, I was over here trying to check out and keep up with. Right now we are actually simulcasting on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope, on YouTube, and then of course on our own pages and all of that. But like I said, I've been watching her on Dr. Deborah Johnson. We call her DJ, Dr. DJ Blake, Johnson Blake. I'm trying to say all these names. I have been watching her Time Management Tuesday, and because we had the holiday week, I think we all kind of had a laid back week, so I got a chance to participate in a number of things. Just like we asked people to watch our broadcast, I got a chance to really kind of go around and support others. And I saw that she had the book ready, and I remember her working on the book and so forth. And I wanted to get my copy, and it is, like she said, a signed copy. So I have her signature in there. And I have gone on and started looking through the hacks, trying to figure out where, and it's a list, like I said, it's 52. But like she said on page, and it's actually page 36 and 7, time auditing. I like, we love action items here at Leading Women. We love action items. Like, where do you start? Because everybody wants to know what's the start of this thing. Angela is always giving us great advice on the pivot. I have done some amazing pivots thanks to Angela being a friend. She can help you pivot as well. So make sure, like I said, inbox Angela as well as get Dr. DJ's book. What I got for you, I got some soap, y'all. And we're gonna talk. We want to stop and plug that, and then because we got some very serious burning topics we want to talk about in the time that we have left. So in this reset, let me just say that one of the ways that we can come on and continue to run our podcast is through your support. And there you go, guys. And we got some new soaps. Most of you have been so excited about our new cut this week. We did a cut this week of the new turmeric and turmeric, and however everybody says it.
I say turmeric. I don't know which one.
But there's an R in there. There is an
turmeric.
R. It's turmeric. TURM. There's an R in there. But let me tell you, this smells absolutely amazing. I've given it the fall holiday scent. So which is your pumpkin, your allspice, cinnamon, all of that deep fall holiday scent.
I feel like I just could smell that through the computer. That's
I'm telling you. Well, actually, no, this one is, if I can ever remember, but this one is the fall holiday. We have the new batch, a new batch of the honey oatmeal. This is the honey and oats. And this one has your fall,
your fall. Skin.
Oh my God. Did you see it? Let me tell you, I had to film some showers, showering scenes this week so I could show people the lather. So I had a time yesterday usually on Tuesday.
I did not see that yet. Let me go watch your softcore
I was using
videos.
I was using, thanks to Joystick, who is also a supporter of Leading Women Weekly. We have various gadgets. There's one, I don't know if you guys can see it. Is it on this side? Over here on top of my mic? No, it's not. It's still in the bathroom. But there is a device that sticks to various surfaces, and it sticks to towel very well. And so I was lathering up, and so there's a video out there of just my arm. But let me tell you, we tried several things to show the lather on the soap. And let me tell you, for those that ask, and not a lot of people ask, but it does lather a lot better, lot more so than some of your commercial soaps. Also new is the Perfection. This is the Perfection. Has a beautiful green top. It's a very bright soap, and it smells like pear. And then, of course, we got our mocha. This one also has a harvest scent. So there's your mocha. And these are the first pumpkin harvest fall. It feels like fall here in Atlanta, guys. I know
it became fall, and yes.
Yeah. The squirrels are out. We're at 70 degrees. And I know I don't know where y'all are, but for us, 70 is cold.
It's cold.
We're cold. We're definitely having some chilly weather
and some
rainy
yesterday with a jacket on, watched all my neighbors out going, and
I put on a jacket this morning.
And I tell you what, I previously lived in Detroit, so this is hysterical to me. I still crack myself up. I've been down here for over 25 years, and I'm still like 70 degrees. I'm so cold.
I know, because it's like it's 90 yesterday, 70 today. Yes. Well, so you don't get like it doesn't like go. It goes like whoop whoop. So anyway,
good. Good time to get your fall soap. And you were saying, I saw on Twitter before, this morning, something about the hashtag. Is it Black Girl Soap Makers?
Well,
one hashtag that you were researching.
And let me say this, because I feel like maybe every time we have had to launch a Black girl. You okay? You unsure where I was gonna go with that? You threw it out there. You knew where we were gonna go. You see, she got choked on that one.
You see there, I was like, oh, I've got a tickle. Let me have something. Let me take a sip. And
Okay.
I instantly choked on it. So yes, go ahead.
You were trying to sip the tea is what you were trying to do.
I was trying to sip the tea and I choked on it. Yep. There's some karma in that. There's some karma in that.
And I'm going to tell you, because I knew the karma was going to come. But let me say this. First of all, I am deeply into experiencing the soper community, and it is absolutely awesome and amazing. I will still say, and I will always say, and there is always pushback when there is a thing and then there's a Black girl thing. But as African American women, we have to tribe up, because there are systems in place, no matter even in some of the most well-diverse communities, and the soaping community online is just that, very well diverse. But to go over to Twitter and I'm pretty sure there is some iteration of Black women doing this thing, because if you recall, Angela, some time ago, one of the Black beauty industry products there was some backlash because they were finally in Target, and they did a commercial that what they were going to do was to make sure that they were assisting young Black women coming behind them. And I don't remember the brand, and I know
right.
it, but they faced a lot of backlash for in their commercial saying that I'm a successful Black woman, I'm going to support other Black women, right? And so they faced a lot of backlash, and people went out and bought up all their products and so forth, in support of it. But what she said, and I have the video. I keep it on my phone. It's also on. I think I put it on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna look for it, because I do want to say who they are. And one of the reasons I was looking for this, let me see. I'm going to go to my videos, and luckily we can do this in a live environment, and we are live on YouTube as I say this. I know it's going to be a quick scroll. It's not going to be a long scroll, but I want to say what company it is, because here I am. And you think about it, Angela. I had no idea in 2020 that I would be. Isn't that interesting that they caught my eye, and then here I am. Coming behind them in 2020, when she said she was going to make sure that the doors remain open for those coming behind, and here I am doing something that I didn't even think I would do in 2020. I'm trying to see if it would. I'm gonna have to go to my channel, but anyway, because one of the things over the time that I have been a blogger, when we first started blogging with black girl hashtags. If you know, like Black Girl Golf, remember the Black Girl Golf founder,
right.
And coming out and saying that, hey, women are still, even though Black women are playing golf and very good at it, still have problems on the golf course. People are still shocked that Black women want to go out and play golf. Even though there's a Black woman who owns a very wonderful resort, right? Salamander. She is, as a matter of fact, the ex-wife of Bob Johnson, who she took her ownies when she took her money when they split, when they sold BET and their divorce and so forth. She took her money. She created one of the best golfing resorts out there. It's not a Black woman's golf resort. It's a golf resort. But we have to tribe up. And Andrew, you talk about this it's our Whisper Network. Yeah. Black girl hashtags are our Whisper Network. It's how we alert each other. Like I said, even though this is an amazing industry, Black women have some issues in it. Some of the opportunities are not there for us. And I'm gonna tell you, there's a Black woman of when you start making soap, you start following all these YouTubers, right? You start buying all these books, you start joining these groups, you start going to these events. I ended up figuring out soap making because I spoke at a soap makers event, and it was put on by a Black woman. And even though her speakers were absolutely diverse, she opened up that diversity, on her platform, and so one of them I started following on YouTube, what they made reference of. And then following them on YouTube, I noticed she has to do something in her videos that the others don't have to do. She has to add a disclaimer. And I literally just watched one of her videos prior to coming on. And you know what her disclaimer is? Don't come for me.
Wow.
Right? She has to say, she has a literal disclaimer. I'm not gonna read her disclaimer because I was looking for this other video because I want to shout out the one who said they will keep the door open. And YouTube is not letting me scroll past X amount of videos. This is crazy. I literally cannot see more videos on this freaking app. Okay. But anyway, she has to say on her video that the other women, white women who are soapers, don't have to say is she has to have a disclaimer that says no negativity, no negative critiques, don't get personal, that she will take consideration. And I noticed in her videos, I mean, and one of the reasons I can't watch her video is because she keeps addressing this thing. And I'm like, find your intended audience so that you don't have to run off the rest of your audience. Because I'm not going to sit there. I want to just talk about soap. And I'm not going to discount the fact that there are some coming on her video and trying to act like she can't make soap when it's something women have done historically. Okay, is make these things right, and it's heartbreaking. And the only reason it's happening is because she is also popular, and in this industry. And so what I look for when I decided to go over to Twitter, because what I'm trying to do is decide, my customers are on Facebook.
Right.
I don't even need to guess that. My analytics say my customers are on Facebook. But I'm also on all these other places. So what I'm trying to do with Twitter is trying to see, well, what is the conversation over there? Which is why I went and searched soapers, soap making, and then Black girl soapers, and as you saw, nothing came up. Nobody's using it, right?
Yeah.
And me, I love when a hashtag has nothing on it because
I was like, wow,
I can make it mine.
You found two.
Actually, I found more than two, but those are the two I posted because the other ones I was like, well, I don't want to let them know about these, right?
No, don't let me know.
But, yeah, and we got somebody trying to. Oh, we did have another guest coming on. Oh, Triana. Okay, it's Triana trying to get her camera. Triana, and you can hear us in the green room. If you would turn your camera on, we wanted an update from Triana as well. We can talk about the ice situation because I might have went a little long on that. But just trying to get I was just trying to tribe up. I was trying to find the community, and that's not to say that I have, and I can't say that I haven't experienced the negativity because, like I said, with this particular soaper on YouTube, and there's several of them, and they have humongous followings. They have, I mean, like in the triple digit subscribers. Okay. And she does too, but they don't come on, and they might have to. They might moderate theirs a little bit better. They might control theirs a little bit better. But she makes a point to address it. And so, it just makes you wonder. Triana, I'm ready to bring you on, but I don't show your camera. I don't know if you're coming on as audio. If you would turn your camera on, and she's probably like, I can't because I'm somewhere, but should I bring her on and just see what we got?
Yeah, go ahead and bring her on, and at least we can talk to her.
Okay. All right. She may be at a place where she can't turn the camera on. Triana, can you hear us? So no, I don't think she approved her camera or her mic.
Or her mic. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna send her.
Yeah, send her back.
I'll take her off, and I'll send her a message.
I've had that happen. For anyone who joins us in the future, you can see it's actually quite easy for us. And once you use that link and you're there, but sometimes depending on the device and the settings on your device, when I switch devices, my permissions aren't there. So, there may be a little bit of setting up of permissions, but it usually talks you through it. But
right when you come in, it asks you to turn your mic and camera on. I really want to talk to Triana because Triana is, even though the rest of us aren't, Triana is still out there at the protest. She also, remember the last time she was on, she had an upcoming election. She did very well, but the second time around, being that it was a runoff, she was not victorious. And that's I want to find out how that's going and what's her next move.
Right.
She is also taking on the owner of one of the owners of the WNBA Atlanta Dream, I think, here in Atlanta. They went out. She's also running politician as well. So we'll try and get Triana on. She says my mic is on, not my camera. Okay, let me see. What's
Try again.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just let her know we can hear.
As she's pulling it up, you see that if we get this to work, you do not have to have your camera on. You can come on with just your mic.
Can you hear us, Triana? I'm just gonna let her know we still can't hear.
Yeah, if you can hear us, we don't hear you.
And she said that she is not dressed, so we're not getting her camera.
That's fine.
Hopefully we get her audio. I'll leave her there in case she fixes it in time. Right. Angela, let's jump on this other topic.
Yeah,
two leading women. First one we just mentioned, and we'll talk about the one that you have. But the first one was from the Donald Trump town hall. Twitter is going absolutely crazy because somebody went back at Donald Trump. Let me leave this. Let me see if I can go because I want to mention her name. Donald Trump had a town hall and there was a question. Alicia, I'm going to say Alicia because it's, one of those spellings. Alicia Black got a chance to ask a question during the Q&A at Trump's town hall. And there are a couple of Twitters here. I'm going to try. Triana, please keep working on your sound, and we'll come right to you guys. Let me see. Did y'all hear that?
Yes. I couldn't hear the rest of it, but I did hear.
I know. I want you to see Donald Trump's face right here, though. Let me see if we can do that.
I'm gonna make this bigger so
Hold
I can see.
Hold it up closer. Can you hear me now, Yolanda?
We got you.
We hear you. Oh my God! Look at his face.
That's what Trump ended up looking like last night during the Q&A, because apparently he has not had someone say, let me finish. And I don't know if she was talking to the president or to the moderator, but that's Alicia Black is no doubt trending, videos going viral. You know that Trump has attacked women all over, and so when one comes back at him, or even those he's attacked, they're out there. All right, so Angela, please watch the clock, and we're gonna get in and get out. Right. Well, we can talk about that with Triana. But hey, Triana.
Hello, how you all are doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We've been seeing you all over the news, and everybody's like, "Wait, it wasn't that the lady that was on Leading Women with Angela and Yolanda? Mm-hmm. Where have we seen her?" So tell us now, take us back. You had the runoff, and what were the results of the runoff? And then tell us where you are now and what's going on.
Well, I didn't make the runoff. I mean, I made the runoff, but I didn't make the nomination. And that's that.
And so what are your next steps?
Where I am now is I've been the president of Georgia now since January of this year, and the National Organization for Women Core Issues aligned with the issues that I've been advocating for. I'm never going to run again. I'm never going to run again.
Why do you say that?
Well, because there was just too many forces of darkness that was against me. And it's crazy because now people are calling me and saying, hey, we need your voice. But when I was running for office, only 15% of the district got out and voted. So if you needed my voice, then more than 15% of the district would have got out and voted. And out of, over 129,000 registered voters in the district, only 3,600 got out and voted on the runoff.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
if more people would have got out and voted, I probably would have gotten the nomination. But because of, people not getting out and vote, because of voter suppression,
Mm-hmm.
because of forces of darkness, I didn't get it. So,
Triana, that's deep right there.
Yeah.
You talking about doing a runoff? Only 3,000
Yeah.
people voted,
yeah,
and you guys that were in the runoff split 3,000 votes. So do you know how many you lost by?
by 300.
Wow.
300 people.
Triana, stop, y'all. This is why it's so serious.
Yeah.
Not only to just vote. I'm not gonna tell you just register and vote, but you gotta vote and you gotta vote again and you gotta vote again and you gotta vote again and you
Right.
might have to come back. And that was our concern when it went into
Mm-hmm.
runoff because
Yeah.
you actually had that if same 300, you actually had the lead in the general election
Yeah.
but didn't get in, but lost by 300 votes in the runoff, which is why
Right.
everybody's always concerned about a runoff. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I
And
mean,
and to the
we
point you
have
don't want to
to
run again.
we have to make it a lifestyle. That's what I kept
Yeah.
hollering. We as Democrats got to make it a lifestyle to vote, and then you got to, the Democratic Party got to keep encouraging people to
Yeah.
vote, and the Democratic Party didn't do anything.
You
Now, let
know,
me tell you the second worst part about it. 21,000 Republicans came out and voted on the runoff
mm,
On
versus
the runoff.
3,600. Yes, it was 21,000 people in the district. 21,000 Republicans came out and voted versus 3,600 on the Democratic side.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
scary.
Yeah, and I in the general, I had it by 1,000 votes,
Yep.
Mm.
almost 1,000 votes.
Hmm. And when you say make it a lifestyle, that means make it a priority. Do you go into and try to figure out why is this not a lifestyle for that many people who took the time to register to vote? Why is it not a lifestyle that they vote? Why is it what's the deterrent? I know we have voter suppression, and I know there's sometimes we had during the general election we had bad weather, but why
Yeah,
is it that we have to come up with all these other things and people don't understand that this is it's not just like it's your life that's on the
right,
line, it's your representation that's on the line to the point where 300 people made that decision for everybody in the
right,
community. These
right.
are the people who made that decision in the community. Why is it not a lifestyle? What's hindering people? How do y'all find out?
I believe that it's just not a priority. I just
Okay.
believe it's not a priority. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because it was a beautiful day. I mean, on
On the
June 9th,
runoff
it
day.
rained like
Mm-hmm.
crazy, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and more people got out and voted. But on June 9th, it was a beautiful day. It was hot, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
people just don't feel like Democrats don't feel like it's a priority. I'm
Well,
sorry to say that. I
and
mean,
I
I'm not sorry, but
and I will
Mm-hmm.
say I didn't see any promotion around voting in the runoff. I saw
Mm-hmm.
none. Right. So
yeah,
like as it was approaching, I'm like, aren't we going to encourage people to get back out? Or where is the encouragement coming?
Mm-hmm.
And just even in the news, I didn't even see any news reports that hey,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the runoff coming. If you're going to vote, if you were going to vote by mail, you needed to go ahead and do that. I mean, it's like I thought there was no talk about
yeah,
that runoff. And I was like, that's very discouraging and disappointing that I mean, nobody, like
Mm-hmm.
you say, nobody was talking about it. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your experience because you clearly have so much to give. I'm sure that you will find
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna you're gonna give it however, right? I'm not worried
Right,
about
right.
that. But I mean, the cost to us as a community when we don't participate. And it seems, it's a lot, and it's, you sometimes you're like, what does it matter? But it does. And there is like you say, there is a core group of people who are, like you say, who've made it their lifestyle, who typically are Republicans, who are basically making decisions for all of us. And if we don't do the same, right? And I know, speaking for myself, I had to learn to make sure you got to go through the whole process, special elections, runoff elections. You've got to do it. And because when you vote in those elections, your one vote's worth 100. It's like worth 10,000 votes, right? I mean, it's like if you don't do it, someone else is their vote is worth 10,000 of yours, right? So I mean, it's So again, I'm so sorry about that experience, but it is.
And she said that you. I want to know a little bit more about the organization. You said you're president of NOW, which is National Organization of Women. What is that organization?
I'm the president of the Georgia chapter.
Okay.
NOW is one of the largest and oldest organizations for women and girls. We fight for the ERA, constitutional equality. We fight for the LGBTQ plus. We're going through a lot with racial justice right now, economic justice, and reproductive rights. And so we're everywhere. We're making sure that, our rights and equality is protected, and everyone has a fair shot. And, it's a multi-issue organization, which I love, because we're not just stuck with, like one issue. And we're boots on the ground. We're boots on the ground. We have, one of the reasons why we've been in the news, because we confronted Kelly Loeffler in that situation, because she was talking about Black Lives Matter, and I wanted to know, does she really understand what Black Lives Matter is all about? And it appears that she doesn't really get it. She doesn't really understand what it is. That have, what Black Lives Matter means. So
and no doubt is willfully ignorant. Let's just throw that in there.
Yeah, she's not trying to know. But I want to ask you this. Speaking of reproductive rights, okay, Angela, if you want to introduce this topic before we get ready to get out of here, of what's going on here in Georgia. And I wonder if Triana, I'm pretty sure you are well aware of this as well. Go ahead, Angela.
Of Dawn Wooten, of Miss Dawn Wooten, who is the whistleblower for the hysterectomies in the ICE facilities down in Irwin County, which, for anybody who is in the Atlanta region, that's down near Tifton, which is south of Macon. So just go straight down 75 like you're headed to Florida. And so, we're talking about a pretty rural area, and she has stepped forward to share the experiences of women that are in detention, and she was saying, I don't know if I think the coverage I saw was on MSNBC, and she talked about that these women were coming to her and saying, hey, there's something going on. And then finally one of them said, well, what's the deal with this doctor? Is he the uterus collector? Because he's giving everyone hysterectomies. And so you hear this, and it's, the first word that comes to your mind is eugenics. This has been going on in the United States forever. So we can't even be like, forever. So, but again, it's as a human rights issue, right? As a reproductive rights issue, right? And so we have this woman, and I think about her being in a small town. She lives in a small town. She has stepped forward, right, to speak about this. And so, I don't know what you're, if you go ahead. I was going to say, and if Triana wants to make a segue in between what now is
and we got
what's happening.
A little bit of feedback on you, Triana, but right now it's okay. But Dawn Wooten she was a full-time LPN at the immigration jail until July. And she made claims that the doctor, now these are women who are in the ICE detention facility. Now, Atlanta forbid ICE from operating here. So that's probably why they're just down the road. But she made claims that this uterine thing, its hysterectomy thing was happening. But notice how it caught the attention. And the way for them to get real attention on this is to say that it's a center that they're not doing COVID testing. And so there was a complaint that was filed, that several hundred pages of stuff. And now there's this investigation. And of course, they vehemently, vigorously deny that this doctor is performing these hysterectomies on women in the ICE detention. Is that something that now organization would look into?
Yes, we're actually. Can you hear me clearer now?
Yeah, when you talk, we can hear you. No, it's just when you are quiet, it's trying. You sounds like it's voice activated. So if you're quiet, it's just a little bit of popping. But when you're talking, it's clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, we're currently in talks on organizing a rally to bring more awareness and a call to action. Because we don't like to just protest and rally and then not have a call to action. But we are in talks right now of the national organization. We issued a press statement this morning, and so now we're in talks on what the next step is, and we should have a call to action. And in order to do that, we need to have a rally at the jail. So that's what we're in the process of doing, because it's a tragedy. You're taking innocent lives, and then here it is, the Republicans, they talk about pro-life, they're talking about protecting the child inside the womb, but here it is, you have this doctor that's taking the child, forcibly,
taking the womb,
taking the womb, the opportunity to have a child. You're taking it from these women, and it's not right. And he should be charged. He should be charged, and that's one of the things that we're going to be demanding. In addition, that he be investigated by the medical association. And I'm not gonna give everything away, because you know how people are. But that we need to be taken, because as you know, I've protested down at the border in Texas, and actually crossed the border, and was held for a little bit, because even though I'm Black, my name is Hispanic, and so they questioned my who I was because of my name.
Well, somebody else just shared one of those stories, and not only is she Black, not only is she a veteran, not only has she run for office all across the ballot, you would still run into those kind of problems, and not only that, people have to there's no way people out here not recognizing you. So again, like you said, dark forces, that are just at work. But Triana, we're gonna let you go. I want to just thank you for popping in and giving us an update. Anytime you need the platform, you know that we are here on Wednesdays, and please come in and just keep us abreast of what you've got going on, so that we can continue to support you. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And I just
thank you so much.
And I want to say thank you for coming up with a call to action, because that was what I was saying yesterday. I started seeing this, I saw it on Twitter first, and I'm like, where's the call to action? That was my first tweet. Where's our call to action? When are we rolling? When are we rolling down to Tifton? Right.
Right. Exactly.
Because if we don't have, I'm like, it's one thing. I'm just looking at Twitter and everybody's going, mass hysterectomies, that's trending. I'm like, yeah, but what are we doing about it? Right. And I think I thought about Yolanda saying you got to wait 3 days, right? And I said, I know we got to let the organizers have a couple of days to figure out what to do. And so, I think that we've really, and I mean, me personally, I can speak for myself, want to follow through on making sure whatever the call to action is, to the extent that I can support it, I want to be able to support it. I'm like, I can't go down there, but I will give somebody some gas money, right? It's like, what do you need, right? And I think that, so thank you. Please do keep us posted. And like I say, and thank you for coming up with a plan, because so much, it seems to me, everybody's just screaming into the void and very little is done. So
and that's why you have to go, that's why we have to go to the source. That's why we have Leading Women Weekly and bring them on, let people talk. I will give Triana one warning. ma'am, can I get you to park your vehicle in a safe space and Lyft or Uber to where the protest is? Because I'm pretty sure your insurance company is like, look, enough with these claims, okay? Our protesters out there, y'all, are going through it. I mean, it's no slight to say, let me support with some gas money. They need funding, and the only way not to fight is to not to have the funds to keep our fighters in the game. So Triana, and I'm pretty sure your husband appreciated it too. Park that vehicle somewhere and lift over to the protest, especially if you're gonna be rolling up on some serious semi-cricket politicians. Okay, just to throw that out there. But
Yes,
and I say
yes,
that because her vehicle was under attack. She came out of one protest and her vehicle was keyed. So yeah, you're gonna have to learn how to park it and take the Lyft and the Uber. All right.
exactly. Yes, ma'am. And thank you all so much. But I will, once we have our conference call this evening, I will let you all know. And please feel free to share it because we need all hands on deck.
Yep.
There you go.
We're just one body, but we need bodies.
Mhm.
We need boots on the ground. So
Yep.
thank you all
There you
so
go.
much, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Triana Arnold James, that's her name. Google her, and you're gonna be like, what? Because she is everywhere. Shitachi Egru is in the chat with us. We get ready to wrap up, guys. We did good with our time management. We got about a minute. We had Dr. Deborah Johnson Blake on early with us. She has a new book out called 52 Time Management Hacks, 52 Time Management Hacks. And if you're a woman, you know you are out there trying to not only manage your time, but probably everybody else in the household, right? Like I said, I've even started getting up early, trying to make sure Petty Betty is getting out of here what she needs. And I know my time has just been like, I've been going to bed early, waking up. I'm broadcasting today in my PJs because I can. Because I keep hearing you guys say, man, I wish I could just go live. Everybody wants to do online learning. They want to work from home in your PJs. You better get yourself some good PJs. See, y'all didn't even realize how comfortable I was over here. But I decided to try it because you want it. I'm going to bring it to you. And I'm going to get Angela in some PJs. Angela has fully colored her hair. Y'all notice she was doing a little bit here and there. Do y'all have, am I the only one that has noticed that Angela got some new do going on over there, girl?
A little bit.
Okay. So what are you doing? Just experimenting?
Yeah, and I'm just painting in right now. This is not permanent. This is powder.
Because you've never really colored your own hair.
I used to many eons ago. It's just been a long time, and so I've got boxes of color lined up. I've just got to do it. But I'm experimenting with what I want to do. Do I want to keep, like I say, I got a little, I kept a little. I'm like, do I want to keep a little bit? I probably will. We'll just cover it all.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah,
okay.
But no, I've been. Yeah, I'm back to. I feel like looking like myself, and that makes me happy. That's another reason my you see, my energy is better when my hair looks like me. So.
I know you did come on today saying that you felt like you had some good energy. And you guys listen.
I installed a thermostat this morning. That's the kind of energy I got. I installed a new smart thermostat. So I can talk about time management. I managed to just pop in there and get my little smart thermostat. The reason I had to do it, talk about lack of time management. I've had it in a box for a month. I knew my old one was was down to the end, and I've been doing workarounds to make it work, and it finally just didn't work.
And you're like, look. So did you YouTube how to do it, or just follow the instructions?
They all now come with extensive videos that tell you how to install yourself. And for years I've been thinking of getting a smart thermostat, and I've looked at I've been looking at videos of this for years. But yes, I looked at videos, and then the one I have is called Sensi, but the installation process is through an app, right? So there's videos, it talks you through, so it's got, here's your instructions of what to do, and it was very straightforward. I know how to throw the circuit breaker, right? So there's certain things, if you didn't know how to do it,
Let's
maybe
see, I would have forgot all about that part.
yeah. And I will, yeah. So anyway, they keep saying it's something you can do yourself. And I was like, yeah. And my sister's like, maybe we should call someone. I was like, you don't trust me. And she's like, I worry you're going to electrocute yourself. So I did not electrocute myself. That's the win. And it's working. So yeah. So like I say, I'm gung ho. That's why I'm like, let's roll. But I can't roll. I can't roll down to Irwin County. But I will support those who do. And
right.
Yeah.
And this is a very, very serious issue. Tati is saying, woo, that's a very serious issue, and we need to keep our eye on that, because you think about it. She said a couple of 100 pages in that complaint. So I'm pretty sure the media right now is just picking, as to what will fly. They're just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. And of course, the fact that they're not COVID testing, that these women and men, women, and children in these, because there are men, women, and children in there. So they threw out an issue with the kids, and now they've thrown out an issue with the women. But then overall, the fact that they have equipment to do and what is the immediate test, the fast turnaround test,
right?
And they're still not testing. So they have all the resources. We know, guys, there's all kind of resources out there, and it's an election season. And it's like, hey, let's just see what sticks. And it could be, I think even when I was reading the article, people are saying, oh, the Democrats, are trying to pull this out for their campaign, and the Republicans are doing that part. But still, we're talking about human rights here. And human is right there in the middle, right? It's nonpartisan. How do you make that partisan? Oh, because they're immigrants? I understand that, right? Because if you're not going to let them in, why are you even detaining them? Why haven't they been deported? They're going to be deported so that they can be safe, so they can go back to being a family again. But they make us think that they're from one place, and they're really not, which is why they haven't been, because they really can't deport them, because they're coming from parts of the world where things are not copacetic right now.
And I just saw a statistic, and I have not been able to verify if this is correct, but someone said that 44% of ICE detainees are from Haiti. So if you're dealing with people being deported,
that's a high number.
And so that's a very high number. So we're talking about,
and who would have ever thought? Where'd you get that?
And so I saw that on Twitter, and I thought I've got to verify that number is correct. So
that's a whole other brand.
We'll see. And this was their point, is if you think that we're just talking about Latino, Latinx, we're talking about Black detainees. So, we talk about Afro Latino, but Haitian, we're talking about Black detainees. So this will be interesting to me as more information comes out of this case here in Georgia. This is why Georgia, if you are watching this and you're from Georgia, we got to come on.
Because they would have us believe that,
this is on us.
That Haitians coming here don't even get detained, that they're immediately returned.
But consider that there are Haitians that have been here for many, many, many years. So we're talking probably that 44% of Haitians that have perhaps been here. And I worked with the Haitian community. It's been almost 20 years now. But many, many Haitian immigrants in Atlanta, particularly. And there are people who have been here for a long time. They're working, they're living. They own homes. Let's understand this.
This will speak to the raids that people have stopped talking about.
Exactly. So this is understand what we're seeing here, and so it's not just that people are coming across the border and we're just going to turn them around, right? We're talking about people that are established and that are here, and they're getting put in these facilities and where they are being deprived of their rights. And so to your point, Yolanda, who cares if they're from where people are from? If they're human beings, we have to treat human beings with respect and dignity. But when I saw that this was in Georgia, and you take Dawn Wooten, who is absolutely a hero, to be from a little town. She's a licensed practical nurse, right? So she's not even a full RN. What kind of employment opportunities are there for her down there, right? And now she is taking a stand against the federal government. And so I see a lot of people praying for her well-being. And I'm like, we got to do more than pray.
I'm almost wondering what her ethnicity or nationality is.
When I was thinking, one of the things that she said was, she says, I don't know why these women kept coming to me, right? And I would like to know how many other Black women worked at that facility. Did they feel like she was approachable because they felt like she would understand, right? And that she would be more open to doing something about it. I'd be very curious to know that, because clearly
I was looking at her.
I heard her speak, and she sounds like somebody from Central Georgia, right? That doesn't mean that that's where her, like I say, her ethnicity, her background may be, her cultural background may be
because
from somewhere else.
you're talking about America's medical field, which is highly immigrant.
Yes.
Okay.
And especially at that, when you're talking about CNAs and LPNs, many, but even RNs, we have a lot of immigrants who are in these positions. And in fact, we had to have special dispensation, is that the term? When Trump started closing down, actually legal immigration, because so many doctors and nurses and healthcare aides are immigrants. So
because it's several of the fields that the American education system is failing Americans, and so we don't have the numbers that we need. And they've been saying that forever.
I have in these, how many 7-8 years that I've been dealing with long-term caregiving and having to have regular care staff. This has been my opportunity to really interface with immigrants in the healthcare industry, and from doctors all the way to CNAs.
It's one place you cannot get around it. It's one place. You might want a white doctor, you might want a Black doctor, you might want all of this stuff, but you better know what our healthcare system looks like right now.
I mean, when I heard her speak, and she said, "I don't know why they came to me," and I thought, because you radiate love and humanity. I mean, I could look at her and see that she radiates humanity and care. And this is why they felt safe coming and talking to her. So, like I say, we definitely need, as some have said, to form a hedge around her. And I just would say, tread very cautiously if you see GoFundMes and so forth to support her. I saw some already getting flagged on social media that were fake. So this is where an organization like the National Organization for Women in Georgia, ACLU, they will be able to go through trusted sources, because it's a shame, if you've got money to give to this, I think it's really important, but make sure that you're not getting defrauded.
And to any of this, because there's so many causes, and people are so quick to do one thing too good about GoFundMe is they do investigate, and if there are any kind of reports or any flagging, it does come down.
And I don't know if you saw that Dr. Tachi says that her mother is a nurse and an immigrant. And I mean, there's so many who go into, particularly from the Caribbean and from West Africa, who are in these spaces, and
my mother was a nurse, and she trained. She worked at the center here and trained so many. So we saw that, and that people are not going. I mean, people are going into the field now. We see a lot of men going into the field of nursing. In fact, my cousin's son just graduated and going into the field of nursing because, and definitely. And shout out to the men, teachers, seeing all the fellas posting their classes as classes are going back. I've never in my life seen so many male teachers, and I think we probably seeing them a lot now, because of course the female teachers are not going to jump online, but the men are really chronicling their return to the classroom as we're navigating this whole COVID thing. So lots of shares by men. Ladies, you have to do like Angela and myself, bite that bullet and go ahead and get on camera. We did this podcast for about a year before we turned the cameras on. So we didn't have no problem with Triana not jumping on camera, because we've been there and we understand. Like I said, I came on today in my PJs because I see so many people who talk about, man, if I could just do this in my pajamas, I can get so much done. Man, I do feel good, but look, I got to go change clothes. I got to go walk the dog, and I can't walk the dog. And one thing I can't do is walk the dog in my PJs. I don't know. Maybe I'll throw on an overcoat.
Well, you know what? I'm like, I respect millennials and Gen Z that they will go out in their pajamas, and I'm like, I'm this
anywhere, right?
close. I'm this close, and they're
You're
like,
that
they
close.
don't care. And I was like, you know what? I used to be like tisk, and now I'm like, y'all got it right.
You
Just-
wish, right? I said that
Exactly.
this morning. I said that this morning about millennials because you know I have, and I was looking at my children. I only have one millennial. My youngest is a millennial. The others are what? What's the one before millennials? Gen Z? Gen Y?
Gen
Or
Y.
what are
Yeah.
we?
Gen Y.
What are
We're
we?
Gen X. We're Gen X.
My kids,
Gen-
okay, Gen
They're
Y.
Gen Y. Mm-hmm.
They might be Gen Z, or is millennials Gen Z, and they just call them
They
Gen
might
Z and
be.
millennials.
They might be. Yeah. I thought that Gen Z came after millennials. I thought Gen Y and millennial are the same. Your kids might be Gen X.
I know that
we're old. We're top of Gen X. They may be bottom of Gen X.
At the bottom. My oldest is at the bottom of Gen X,
Yeah.
and then the kids, the other two at the beginning of Gen Z, and then millennial on the other end of that. Right.
Yeah.
And millennial is not the youngest anymore. People, please stop classifying everybody.
Millennials are in their 30s at this point.
And
For they're old. The old
tell
millennials
me
are in their
about
30s.
it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Okay. So Angela, I know you got to go.
Gotta
Man,
go.
we could talk all day long, guys,
Yeah.
but we will be back next week. If you like more, there are other episodes. If you want more video, we have a page called Leading Women Weekly on Facebook. We also the videos are archived over on YouTube. Please check out the YouTube one because that's what we can leverage and monetize and support the platform. And then also I'll put clips everywhere else. And when we stop, we'll record it as it return into a podcast. So even on your favorite podcast platforms, and each and every week we're on, we invite you to come on camera with us. So figure out either somewhere between your PJs or do like Angela and go all the way and come on with us because we have great conversations specific to women, specific to gender, what we're earning, what we're learning, and we burn through some serious topics. Okay, so help us keep everybody up to date. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all the comments, all the watch parties, and so forth. Everybody go and have yourselves a great week. Yeah. Angela, any words of wisdom for our Wednesday Leading Women?
Yes, and I think I'm going to go with Triana talking about calls to action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be aware. You can't act on everything. It's too many, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if there's something that really touches your heart, find the call to action and support it where you can and vet that. So we want your action. We need our action. Vet it and then do something more than just scream into the void. We have to
a tweet and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do some follow up with that. All right, guys. Have a great day. Angela, stay right there. I'm going to send them off into the wild blue yonder.